Can you tell us what you're doing?
So these are some barrels that yesterday were emptied, and we steamed them with our steam machine, which helps kill any bad bugs that might be in there, or any bugs. And so now we're going to burn a sulfur wick to help keep the barrels fresh over the next 6 or 8 weeks while they're empty.
What do you mean by bugs?
Well, you know, killing off if you had any bad yeast, any bad bacteria, any microbes in your empty barrels.
And the steam machine, what temperature are you heating the steam to sterilize?
Over 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So you run that for about 7 minutes, and then you bung the barrel, and as it cools, it vacuums, so it actually pulls a lot of liquid and wine out of the staves remaining, and helps get them nice and clean.
Okay, and what is this?
This is a sulfur wick. It's basically a sort of fabric that's coated in sulfur, and it burns, and it smells like sulfur. Okay, so now it's burning. We put it in our little holder, which always reminds me of like a little incense holder at church.
For all the times you've been to church.
So these are little homemade sulfur holders, just a bung with a wire stuck into it.
And why homemade versus having the little container to drop it?
The little container, those things are like 40 or 50 bucks a piece. So we use these, which, when they work, are quite a bit less expensive.
This is a MacGyver move.
There you go.
So what happens now?
It takes 5 or 6 minutes for it to burn, and when it's done burning, we'll take it out, and then we'll put a little paper cup in to keep it slightly sealed up, and then it goes back into the cellar.
And how much, do you have any sense of like how much sulfur is actually released in there, or how much stays in over time?
Usually when you actually use sulfur discs, they come in 2 or 5 grams. I don't know the weight of these, but yeah, we usually burn a 5-gram disc.
Are there any other ways that you've sterilized barrels besides steam and sulfur?
So you can also use an ozone machine, which runs water that's been ozonated, and you run that for 5 or 6 minutes, and the ozone kills off any bugs or bacteria that are in the barrels. That's just another way to do it. Some people prefer ozone, some people prefer steam. Ozone uses more water, so that's kind of an issue here in California. If you're running a barrel washer for 6 or 7 minutes for each barrel, that's a pretty good amount of water. So,
ozone uses more water than steam.
Yeah. Ozone uses more water than steam. I prefer steam because it uses less water, but also I like how it pulls some of the remaining wine out of the staves.
How it vacuums?
Vacuum pulls it.
Can you show us the steamer?
Sure. So this is the steam machine. It has a water input here. Hose hooks up here, and then there's a boiler in here, and it heats the water very hot and makes it into steam, and then you put this down into the barrel, and steam comes out of here. Pretty simple.
How many minutes do you do that for?
We do 7 minutes of steam, and then 5 minutes bunged up while it's cooling. So the barrels are marked, written on each piece of tape, SS for steamed and sulfured, and then we put the date on there, and that way you can go back every 6 to 8 weeks and check them and see if they need to be sulfured again.